Your team wins by 20.
I'm low-key kind of surprised that this character in this story made it so far, right? But his mindset, his belief system, how he feels about himself and other people around him don't line up, in my opinion, to someone that makes it to the league. You feel me? If I could go back in time to myself when I was younger, holy shit, like, the advice I would give myself is way different. This must be off-brand Jason Tatum. Where LeBron? Your life is every basketball player ranked. Let's do it.
Level 1. The kid with the ball. You're 8 years old. Your dad puts up a hoop on the garage for your birthday, cheap plastic backboard.
I think, okay, if I was to put myself at this point, right? If I was at level one for me was being in my granddad's house outside with my little brother with a laundry basket in the little fucking complex driveway. And we would just dribble the basketball. You feel me? Dunking the little laundry basket. That was level 1 for me.
Rim already bent slightly to the left. You don't
Real
care.
trench shit.
You shoot until it's too dark to see the rim, then you shoot by feel.
God.
Your mom calls you in for dinner 3 times before you actually come inside. You're not a natural. The first 50 shots don't go in. You throw the ball so hard off the backboard it bounces into the street. Your dad jogs out.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, as a, because obviously we didn't have a fucking hoop. So like when I first got to like real hooping and shit, I wasn't a natural at scoring, but ball handling, that came
to
easy.
get it from between 2 parked cars.
Being a ball handler came easy.
And hands it back without saying anything. That is when you understand he's not going to tell you to stop. By the time you're 9, you can make 10 free throws in a row. You start keeping count in a notebook. Actual tally marks, like it matters. It does. To you. Your uncle takes you to your first live game. Nosebleeds, but you don't care. The players look small from up there,
real.
like toys moving on strings. But the sound the crowd makes...
I remember my first little Pistons game. Boy, that shit was one of the best nights of my life. I literally remember. I feel like it might be people that's too old to even remember who this is. But Chauncey Billups, bro. I remember that nigga hitting a 3, and that did it for me.
When someone hits a shot from half court at the buzzer,
after that
sound gets stuck in your chest.
Love the game.
You decide right there you want to be the reason a whole building makes that sound.
You feel me?
You join a rec team. You're not the best kid on it. There's a kid named Tyler who's already taller than the coach. You lose your first 3 games.
My first rec, like when my first little rec team I joined, I was so nervous during the first practice, nigga. My legs were shaking. I didn't make a single lay. All we did was fucking run and do layups. I didn't make a single layup. I was that nervous.
You cry after the second loss, quietly, in the car, hoping your dad doesn't notice. He notices.
I think we went.
He doesn't say anything about it. He just puts on music you like. Game 4, you hit a shot at the buzzer. Not for the win. Your team's still down by 12. It doesn't matter for the score. But it's the first time the ball feels like it belongs to you instead of the other way around. You don't sleep that night. You lie there replaying it over and over, the exact feeling in your wrist when it left your hand. You don't know it yet, but you'll be chasing that exact feeling for the next 20 years. Level 2.
Damn, I ain't think about it like that. Fuck, is that how addiction starts? Because if I really think about it, like I remember scoring in like on my first little rec team in the game, bro. It was a free throw, but damn,
Park player.
Like that shit.
You're 12.
Felt
Rec league isn't enough anymore, so you start going to the park courts on Saturdays. The ones where grown men run full court games and don't take it easy on you just because you're a kid. First time you get picked, it's only because they need a 5th. You touch the ball.
Nah, that wasn't my story. When I was 12, bro, from 12 moving forward, every time I hooped with like older niggas at like, you feel me, like a YMCA or WCA, wherever the hell, outside, them niggas be like, damn, where you go to school at? Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie, you tough. You finna be something big.
Ball twice the whole game.
No more.
You keep showing up anyway. Nobody tells you when you're allowed back. You just have to prove it every single time. There's a guy named Dre who's maybe 19, plays with a kind of controlled anger you don't understand yet. He blocks your shot into the fence the first week. Second week he does it again, but this time he says, elbows dropping. Fix it or I'll keep doing that. You fix it. Third week he doesn't block it. You start getting picked earlier. Not first, but not last. Your handle gets tighter from being pressed by grown men who don't care that you're a kid. You learn to finish through contact because nobody at the park calls fouls unless you're bleeding.
That's real.
Your mom starts driving you on Saturdays
Hell
instead
yeah.
of you walking because she noticed you're coming home with actual bruises now and wants to see the courts herself. She sits in the car and watches one game. She doesn't say much after, just, "You're better than I thought." That sentence sits with you longer than you
Aww. That's so nice.
expect. You didn't know she'd been wondering. By the end of the summer, Dre stops guarding you soft. He starts trying. That's when you know you've actually earned something out here, not given. Earned. Level 3, the high school prospect. Freshman tryouts. You don't make varsity. JV coach shakes your hand and says, next year. And you spend the car ride home staring out the window, doing the math on how many years you actually have left before this stops being a possibility and starts being a memory. JV is good for you, even though it doesn't feel like it. You start every game. You learn how to read a defense instead of just outrunning it. Sophomore year, you make varsity, but you're eighth man.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, this is where shit started to fall apart for me. This is where shit started to fall apart for me. I was two in my head. I had the fucking skill, bro. I was good enough, but I was just two in my head and was just slowly losing love for this shit.
You dress for every game and play the ones that are already decided.
Yeah.
Junior year, you start. The team has a real player already, a kid named Isaiah, who's being recruited by mid-majors before the season even begins. You're not jealous of him, exactly. You just notice the difference in how coaches talk to him versus how they talk to you. Softer with him, like he's already made it and everyone else is just a...
Oh God, I feel that. I went to high school with a nigga that's in the NBA. He's in the NBA right now. I went to high school with that nigga. I can see the difference, the way he was treated. I went to high school with another nigga who is D1 football right now, but he was on the basketball team and he was treated different. I seen that shit.
Around
Yeah,
him.
that shit's real.
You average 12 points.
That's the shit that makes you slowly. That's some of the shit that makes you slowly lose love for this shit. Cause it's like, damn, bro. Like I'm putting in the hours too. I'm putting in the hard work, the sweat, the blood, the tears, all of it too.
Respectable.
What the fuck? They
Not
getting all the
special.
extra treatment.
You tell yourself special is coming. Senior year, Isaiah tears his ACL in week 3. You watch it happen from the bench. The sound before the sound registers, and for 1 second before you catch yourself, you think about what this means for you. You hate that thought immediately. You visit him in the hospital that night anyway. With Isaiah out, the offense runs through you now, whether you're ready or not. First few games, you're not ready. You force shots that aren't there.
God damn.
coach- First few games, you're
Why
not
they
ready.
got him like that?
You
Shit. Who the other two hands?
force shots that aren't there. Your coach pulls you aside after a loss and says, "Stop playing like you're trying to prove something. Just play." You don't fully understand what he means until the 5th game back, when you stop thinking and just start
wish I
reacting.
heard them
And the points
words.
come without you chasing them.
Shit.
You finish the season averaging 19 points, 6 assists. Isaiah, from the bench in a walking boot, is your loudest fan every single game. He never once seems bitter watching you take his spot. That surprises you more than anything else that year.
That's
A
real.
Division II coach shows up to your last home game. Not a big program. Doesn't matter. He offers you a scholarship in the parking lot afterward. No ceremony, just a handshake and a folder. You call your mom before you even
dope.
get to the car. She's crying before you finish the sentence.
dope.
Level 4? The college player. Division
Now, I never hooped in college. I didn't get there. I decided to go straight into work and making money. I could have tried out for a team. I bet I could have made it. I know I could have made it. But from my homies that did hoop in college, I seen that they it makes you the coach like how do I say it? Depending on where you go and who you play under, who you play for, it could make you lose love for the game even fucking more. Cause shit gets stricter, shit gets harder, and you coming in as a freshman, man, there's super seniors in that bitches, seniors and juniors ready to take over that bitch, and you are not the main focal point.
2 isn't glamorous, but it's
You
real
is not the
basketball,
main
real
focus.
weights, real film sessions at 7 a.m. that make you question every decision that led you here. Freshman year, you barely play. You redshirt adjacent, watching from the bench, learning more from watching than you expected to. Your roommate is a walk-on named Marcus, not a rival, just a friend who works as hard as you do and laughs at the same dumb things you do at 1 a.m. when neither of you can sleep before a game. You study together, eat together, run extra sprints together when the coach isn't watching. Just because misery shared is lighter somehow. Sophomore year you start, averaging 13 and 5. Solid, not spectacular. You're good enough to know exactly how far away great actually is, and that gap keeps you up some nights. Junior year, the coaches move Marcus to point guard, your position. You don't say anything, but it stings in a way you don't expect. You end up playing more minutes off the bench that season than you did starting the year before. It's the first time basketball has quietly taken something from you without asking. You could resent him for it. You almost do, for about 2 weeks. Then you watch him get exhausted trying to do it all, and you start helping him read the defense during timeouts, the way it always came naturally to you. Your assists go up.
See, that's also something else I was never really a part of is being so like envious or jealous of my homie that I'm just like, nah, nigga, I'm not fucking with you right now. Just because like you either took my spot or I see you doing a little better than me right now. Like, or you just going back and forth. But at the end of the day, I never really seen competition like that with my friends. No, never. Never. I was always there behind my niggas' backs.
So do his scoring numbers. Neither of you says it out loud,
Man, I
but you
did that shit for even niggas that didn't really fuck with me for real.
both know you made each other better that season. Senior year, you're the leading scorer again, 17 and 7. You make the Division II tournament for the first time in school history. You lose in the second round, but the locker room afterward doesn't feel like a loss. It feels like the end of something you're proud you finished. An agent calls 2 weeks after the season ends. Small operation, nothing flashy. He says there's professional interest overseas. You sit on your dorm room floor holding the phone long after the call ends, trying to convince yourself this is actually happening. Level 5. The G League grind. You're 23, playing G League ball in a city you'd never heard of before your agent mentioned it. The bus rides are long. The per diem barely covers 2 meals. You share an apartment with 2 other players you didn't choose and don't always like.
God damn, this shit look depressing. What the fuck?
But you're all chasing the same 15 roster spots that exist above you, so there's an understanding. Your first season, you average 9 points in 18 minutes.
My nigga look like the soul in this shit is just gone. This nigga hate hooping now. What the fuck?
Respectable enough to keep your roster spot, not enough to get noticed.
Hey,
You watch call-ups happen to other guys? Guys you know you're better than. Guys who just happen to be in the right system at the right time. You stop watching the call-up news eventually. It's easier that way.
do it on the fly.
Year 2, your coach starts running more of the offense through you. Your assists jump. Your shooting percentage climbs. In one game, you drop 28 against the league's best defensive team. And for a few days, your phone
Okay.
actually buzzes with texts
Yeah,
from people who
yeah.
noticed.
Yeah, that's
Nothing
what you
comes
want.
of it immediately, and that's the hardest part. There's no ceremony for getting better in the G League. Just another bus, another gym, another per diem that doesn't quite cover dinner. Your dad flies out to watch one game that season, sits in a mostly empty arena, and afterward just says, "You look like you belong out there." You don't tell
That's big right there. You got someone in your corner that's riding for you like that, man. That's especially like family. That's huge.
him how many nights you've wondered if that's
That's
actually true.
huge.
By the end of year 2, an NBA assistant GM shows up to one of your games, sits behind the baseline with a clipboard, watches the whole thing without saying a word to anyone. You don't know yet if he was even there for you. You play like he was, level 6, the NBA rookie. The call comes on a Tuesday, 2-way contract. Not guaranteed, not glamorous, but real.
Now, this
You fly
is
out that same night with
different.
one bag because you don't own much worth packing carefully. Your NBA debut is a Wednesday game nobody outside your family is watching. You play 6 minutes. You miss your first 2 shots. You make a free throw. Your team wins by 20, so nobody notices you were even out there. Except your mom, who
I'm low-key kind of surprised that this character in this story made it so far, right? Because as you can kind of see throughout like the timeline and everything, yeah, it may be made up. I don't know if he's telling the real story or not about a real person, but his mindset, his belief system, how he feels about himself and other people around him don't line up, in my opinion, to someone that makes it to the league. You feel me? If I could go back in time to myself when I was younger, holy shit, like The advice I would give myself is way different. I'd probably tell it at the end.
records the entire 6 minutes on her phone and sends it to relatives you didn't know still had her number. You spend most of the season bouncing between the NBA roster and the G League affiliate, a phone call away from either world at any moment. It's exhausting in a way nobody warns you about. The constant uncertainty of not knowing which city you'll wake up in next week. There's a veteran on the roster, 10 years in,
Damn.
who takes you under his wing without being asked to. He shows you things stats don't measure. How to watch film properly. How to talk to coaches. How to survive the parts of this life that never make it onto a highlight reel. You ask him once if it gets easier. He laughs and says, "No. You just get better at the parts that are hard." Your two-way contract gets converted to a standard deal in March. You find out from your agent over the phone while sitting in a hotel room in a city you can't remember the name of. You call your mom. She's silent for almost 10 seconds before she says anything, and you realize she's crying too hard to talk. You finish the season averaging 5 points in 14 minutes. Not a star. A real NBA player. The gap between those two things used to feel
Yeah.
enormous. Tonight, it doesn't feel like a gap at all. Level
There.
7, the NBA starter.
Oh, shit, he's still
Year
going
3, a
up.
starter goes down with a torn ACL in November.
Damn, what's up with all the ACL, MCL, the knees? What's up? What's up?
And your coach looks down the bench and calls your name instead of someone with more experience.
Damn, the stadium.
You don't sleep the night before your first start. You watch film until 2 a.m., even though you've already watched it twice. First start, you're tight, forcing shots that aren't there, exactly like you did senior year of high school. You finish with 9 points on bad shooting. Your coach doesn't bench you the next game. That decision, more than anything anyone's ever said to you, tells you he actually believes in you. By January, you've settled in. 14 points, 6 assists a night. Not eye-catching numbers, but winning numbers. The kind that show up in film sessions more than highlight reels. Your rookie year mentor gets traded in February. You help him pack his locker. He shakes your hand and says, "Your turn to be the guy someone leans on." You don't feel ready for that. You do it anyway. Playoffs, first round. You're not the best player on your team, but you're a starter now. And every single possession matters in a way the
Oh, you
regular
got the
season
building
never quite
packed
prepared you
out.
for. Game 5,
got that big
you have 22 points
jumping.
in an elimination game.
Yeah.
You miss the game-winning shot at the buzzer.
Oh.
The ball rims out, and for one full second, the entire arena goes silent before the other team's bench erupts. You sit in the locker room afterward for almost an hour after everyone else has left.
Nah, bro, I'd genuinely cry. I'd really cry if I was in that situation. Like, I'd just sit there in tears, bro.
Nobody comes to check on you, which is
Holy
somehow exactly what you need. The next morning, your coach calls just to say one thing. That shot doesn't define your season. Take it. You don't fully believe him yet, but it's the first time you consider that maybe he's right. Level 8, the All-Star, year 5. You're averaging 21 and 7. Numbers that used to belong to other people in your head. Guys you watched from the nosebleeds as a kid. Your team is winning. Reporters start using your name in sentences with words like franchise attached to it. And it takes you a while to stop flinching at that. All-Star Weekend. Your name gets called as a reserve. You call your dad first, before your agent, before anyone.
Nah, I'm not gonna
He
lie.
doesn't
You
say
living life.
congratulations right away.
You
He
living
just
life,
says,
dude.
"Put the phone on speaker. Your mom needs to hear this too." You hear her scream from somewhere in the house before she even reaches the phone. The weekend itself is strange. Surreal.
Hold on. All right. Wait. Why is a girl in the locker room full of dudes? Hey, pause. This must be off-brand Jason Tatum. This must be Karl Anthony Towns. This gotta be Shea. This gotta be Shea Gilgeous. Paul George. Where LeBron?
Guys you grew up watching on posters now calling you by your first name in the locker
fuck
room,
Chet doing
like
here?
you've always belonged there. Marcus, your old college roommate, texts you that week. He never made it past a training camp invite 2 years ago, coaches on a high school team now. His text says, "Proud of you, man. Genuinely." You read it 3 times. Regular season resumes. Your team makes a real playoff push. You're the guy the ball goes to in the fourth quarter now. The guy opposing coaches design entire defensive schemes around.
Okay.
Some nights, that pressure sits heavy on your chest before tip-off. Other nights, it feels like exactly what you were
on
built
top
for.
of the world.
Your dad flies out
You
for every
him.
home game now that he's semi-retired.
Him.
He sits in the same seats every time. Has started talking to the usher by name. After one particular win, he tells you, almost offhand, I used to worry this whole thing would break your heart. You ask him if he still worries about that. He thinks about it longer than you expect before he answers. Sometimes. Less than I used to. You make the All-NBA third team that season. It's not the top, not yet. But it's real, official. Your name printed next to players you used to only see on television. You frame the announcement email the same way.
That's got to be a surreal feeling, being like somebody that's made it to the NBA like in the last like 2-3 years, being like literally being a kid while some of the top players were like just getting drafted or reaching their primes and shit, and then now you make it to the league and some of them players are still in the league and now your name's up there with them, like Wemby, and like bro, that shit's probably like a crazy feeling.
You once imagined framing another email from years ago that never actually came. Level 9, the champion. Year 8. Your team makes the finals for the first.
Like, it's a kid now that's probably looking up to Anthony Edwards and is one day gonna make the league and be like, damn, I'm finna hoop against Anthony Edwards tonight. What the fuck?
First time in franchise history. Game 6 on the road, you have 33 points and the go-ahead assist in the final minute. The final buzzer sounds, and for a second you don't move, like your body needs proof this is real before it lets you celebrate. Confetti falls, someone hands you a hat that says champions.
Chip? Oh!
It doesn't fit right. You wear it anyway, the entire flight home, the entire parade. Your parents are in the front row of the celebration. Your mom holding a sign she made herself. Slightly crooked lettering, your name spelled correctly this time. You find her in the crowd before you find anyone else.
Oh,
you hold the trophy that night longer than you probably need to. Level 10.
Then you wake up. You wake up out your sleep. Dream's over. Get ready for school, little nigga. It's like, nah.
The legacy.
Hey.
You're 40 now, retired 3 years.
Hey, nah,
your knees don't let you forget the career you had, but you've made peace with that trade. You run a youth clinic back in your hometown, the same park where Dre used to block your shots into the fence before making you earn every single one after that. The fence is new now. The court's been resurfaced twice. An 8-year-old kid can't keep his elbow in when he shoots. You walk over, adjust his arm the way it was once adjusted for you, decades ago, by someone who never got any real credit for the career that followed. Elbow in, follow through, you tell him. The ball goes in. Nothing but net. He screams like it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to him, because right now, it is. You remember that exact feeling. You've spent your entire life chasing it in one form or another, and you're finally starting to understand that the chase itself was always the actual point, not the destination you thought you were running toward. You put your hand up. He high-fives it without hesitation.
Okay.
Somewhere, a kid is always just getting started.
Okay, first of all though, like how do you lead a team to a championship and then 10-20 years later you retired and you get to just walk to a park freely without niggas like all in your face, take a picture. Okay. But shit, nah, I feel like the chase ain't the goal. That's the destination. If you really, like I was saying earlier, like the advice I would give to myself and the mindset like this person has kind of had throughout the video, while I was surprised he made it so far, is a term I've heard called like living from the end, where you literally imagine what your life would be like if you were already in the NBA or already accomplished whatever said goal, and you do it, that you do whatever you think that person's gonna do. Now, if you're a person in the NBA, do you give a fuck that your teammate just in high school just balled out more than you? Nah, you don't give a fuck about that shit. What if you just had 14 assists and he had 30 points? You don't get mad at that nigga that because he started over you a couple games and okay, he got his chance to shine. Nah, bro, you support that nigga. You feel me? But if you like, if you look at a player like Kobe, bro, you just go work harder. You just go fucking harder. You don't get jealous and get pouty and shit. You know what I mean? Like, but once again, like the advice I would give to myself though is How would you move if you was the top scorer in the state? Would you be so passive aggressive? Would you be so nervous? Would you be so afraid to shoot? Would you always make the extra pass? No, go put that ball up. You know what you can do? Go do it. Be that person. Do what that person would do. And maybe I would have, you feel me, enjoy basketball a little more. Anyways, that being said, I fuck with that video. Hope y'all did too.